have been moving the month of December.
Yeah, busy, busy, busy.
So, so yesterday you sent me a picture, and the angel tree turned out to be successful, I would say so, huh?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about where the angel tree sits right now. So this is an angel tree that Third Street Realty partnered with some of the chamber members in Bunker Hill, and we ended up with 15 families and 39 angels altogether. And the neat thing about it, when we decided to do this, we didn't partner. It isn't through the school or anything like that. So it was just trying to get the community to come together.
Right.
So it worked. So when we did our tree, we put our angels on it. We did it at our tree lighting ceremony that takes place in town, and we had the members of the community come in and pick up angels and then go shop for them for the holidays. And that's what it was all about. It was like we wanted the community to come in, pick an angel, go shop, and bring it back. So the girls are there today finalizing everything, and families are starting to come in today and tomorrow to pick up their angels. So yes, the office is between that and then the Toys for Tots. The office has been full of toys and boxes and wrapping and everything. So, but I do consider it a big success. We had members of the community come and pick up angels. We've had people from other communities come and get an angel because they missed the angel trees in their community. So that's what it was all about, So it was a first time. Of course, there's hiccups, learning as you go, but it's turning out to be a big success.
Well, it's really cool how you do it, because I love the idea of the angel tree, because you can have all the businesses in the world supporting stuff, and it's great because we need that, but also to get the folks in the community really in the Christmas spirit, because that's what it's all about. Is and anyone that's done the toy drives or any type of benefit like this, you can see it firsthand that there's a big need for kids to have Christmas. And I think it's almost a right. I think you have the right to enjoy a beautiful holiday no matter who you are or where you are, and just enjoying that day.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we started this, there were several different organizations in town that they said, well, we do this or we do that. And I told them, I'm like, continue.
Yeah.
Continue, because I'm not going to deny somebody. If a family feels like they're on this list to have help with toys, but yet they want to be on our list because they need help with toys, well, then we're going to help them.
Yeah.
So everybody, multiple things, that's what it's about. If two families end up on the same list, so be it. It's just how it goes.
Well, and if that's the case, then hell, that's a good thing for as far as I'm concerned, because that way they're getting taken care of twice.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that. That I don't feel like we should be saying, well, if you're on this one, you can't be on this one. That's not for us to say. That's not for us to judge. If they feel like they need the help, then we'll give them the help.
Exactly. And that's what it's all, to me, it's the one time a year where you don't ask questions. And I mean that.
Absolutely.
To me, it's like, hey, if you need help, if you're having the guts to ask for it, then God willing, you're going to get it.
Yeah, and all of the angels were supposed to be from the Bunker Hill area. And, everything is confidential, so I'm assuming they are. But you know what? If somebody wasn't, I'm not going to judge there either.
Right.
If they're from somewhere else and they feel like their family needed help and they submitted it, that's fine. That we're here to help. So.
Well, absolutely. And that's what I was saying yesterday during one of the live readings when I was talking about you is, we always talk about the happiness of this time of year, but until you really kind of go into that other side of the train track setting, and there's people hurting and they are getting notices from banks for foreclosure. That's still happening, even though we're seeing all the lights of Christmas. And it's good to know that you're there, whether or not it's for that aspect of foreclosure short sale or just to do community support projects like this. Now, has the family been getting behind this with you?
Oh, yeah.
Have they? I figured they would.
Absolutely. So I was supposed to have Santa with me today, but Santa ended up having to go to the doctor.
Damn it.
He has to stay healthy.
He does.
Healthy for his travels coming up, and he was all set to come today. He was going to be a special guest, so we can show that everybody's behind us. But he's probably at his doctor's appointment right now in the North Pole, getting checked out.
Well, get well, Santa. You need to fly. We need to get you going.
Yeah. So everybody, all of our families behind everything. The community's behind everything, and it's just a great time of the year. So the angel tree is finishing up. I do want to touch bases with our Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
So the Little Black Book group, the Riverbend chapter and the Southern Madison County chapter that I belong to. So we finished up our Toys for Tots last week, and we surpassed our goal. So we had a total of about 10,500 toys.
Wasn't your goal 10,000?
It was 10,000.
Because when you told me that, I'm going, oh my goodness, that's a lot of toys.
Yeah. And so, but we did surpass that. Now, again, it's all approximate numbers, but just based on our calculations and averages, we should have came out at about 10,500. So we wanted to make sure we thanked everybody that had a box and contributed. I wanted to do a special shout out to Annette Clark because I think it's Clark. Sorry, Annette, if I butchered your last name. I'm sure it is. I have so many names that I wanted to mention, but she came on the show a while back because she was doing the tree Festival of Trees.
Oh, absolutely, for Carol's Hope.
Yeah,
Carol's
so she came in all dressed up in her Dr. Seuss and stuff, and so she's a member of our group, and so she had reached out and put boxes to 21 businesses, and so she had 21 boxes just herself out there.
Wonderful
and
person.
So it was just great big help. So
she's a wonderful lady. When she came on the show, just hearing about that organization too and how important it is, and it's really cool to know that in Little Black Book too, there's organizations that cover the whole spectrum of what's needed and what their missions are too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's sort of what Third Street Realty, because you're like, well, what's that have to do with Third Street Realty? And it's like, well, that's who we are.
Yeah.
So you partner with who has the like minds and whose missions are similar. And so when we partner with these other businesses that have the same goals and missions, then it's not only going to help us be able to reach more in a community, it's going to help them as well, So that was a big event, and that just finished up. And I did hear from the Toys for Tot, one of the directors, that next year they're going to need even more help with their toys because one of the organizations that normally helps is backing out.
Oh, no.
So we'll probably need to have like an additional 5,000 to 6,000 toys for next year. So, it's always a growing need. But that's what it's about. It's about Christmas. Third Street Realty, that's where we're at. Who can we help? What can we do? A lot of these things are new to us as far as like the angel tree and things like that. But trial and error. You don't know unless you try, and then you'll know to do things a certain way. What worked, what didn't work for next year.
Well, and that's the thing too, is to me it's an obvious, because in the real estate industry, that's what the home's for. Is all those memories, and every one of us can remember how our Christmas tree was set up when we were a kid, and
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So all those things that are in the home, those values that you guys really do, hold high to a high standard, those show through. And when you do community projects like this, it kind of encompasses really what your whole, company's about.
Yeah, and one of the angels that were on the tree, it was sort of heartwarming because it was a 13-year-old female, and on her angel, you had to put like 3 wishes that you would like, and one of her wishes was to live in a home, to have a house. Yeah. And so it was like, oh, that's 13 years old, and that's just touching, and it makes you go, oh man, okay, let's help them and see where they need to be and go things moving forward. But back to the real estate world.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's December. And so people always ask, is it still a good time to sell my house? It absolutely is still a good time. One of the good things about selling your house at this time of the year is you narrow your people that are looking to a little bit more serious buyers. Okay. Because they're like, I need a house. I know it's Christmas. I know it's New Year's. I know it's Thanksgiving, but we need to buy a house. It's time. We're ready. We're transferring or whatever the case is. So you do have a pool of more serious buyers that are going to be interested in your house. So I want to encourage everybody, if you're hesitant about waiting until springtime, the interest rates are still good. They're not necessarily going to drop too much lower. Again, disclaimer, I'm not part of the Fed, so that can go any way with them. But
Right.
we are forecasting that they're not really going to go back to where they were. So don't wait until springtime. Get things moving now, get things ready. Because if you think about it, if you go to list your house, say, January, which is right around the corner, not that far away,
No.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
maybe.
right. That's what. Now, before we go in, do you think it's because the Christmas is on a Monday and that Christmas Eve Sunday is throwing people off?
It is.
Yeah.
I keep thinking I have a whole nother
Yes.
week, and I'm like, oh, I don't. I have one weekend, but then it's Christmas.
It is. Well, and that's why I told people, do not hesitate if you want to go buy some gifts, because this weekend you have Saturday and that's it.
And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, now I don't know. I'll go on Christmas Eve.
You'll
yeah.
find a way.
Yeah, I'll go on Christmas Eve. Sometimes that's fun, to go.
That's true.
Because it is what it is. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. So, but yeah. So you don't want to. By the time you contact us to come
Yeah.
and look at your house, to give you a comp, to give you the value, to tell you do this or don't do this or this is good. We're into January. So then you're gonna list your house. And then you're going to price it right, and you're going to get it out on the market, and then it's going to go under contract. Say it goes under contract within the first 30 days. You have another 30 days before you're going to close. So now we're into February.
Oh, yeah.
And so then here we are at spring. So, it's like, don't wait. Don't feel like you need to wait for spring to come. Go with
makes
it,
sense.
list it, and get it out on the market now.
Well, that's actually I never even thought of it that way, because you're right. I mean, the way that this breaks down time-wise, you'd be silly not to, in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't wait and get it out there and get the attention.
There was someone I was talking to. He does houses or does remodels, and he was asking me, and we were talking about, is there a time in the year that you see more of the flipping properties hit the market? Is there like ever a hot month or a hot streak for those where you see a lot more of those?
I would think more so in the spring, the weather time, because a lot of times you have, like with contractors, weather delays and things that are, if it's outside. Now, if it's inside, those investors, they're going to do their flip anytime.
Really?
If they need to get things done and end of the year off the books, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think and I'm not a flipper, but I would think with some of those, it's going to depend on the cost of materials. If they're foreseeing material costs are going to go up, then they're going to want to get their rentals done and in the books before some of those inflation costs go up.
You're right. Well, 100%. And too, I mean, I don't think we'll ever live in a day where you don't hear supply chain issues anymore.
Yeah,
and all that.
and I agree with you on that, because I think back when COVID was in its big prime, that was the go-to, and so people are still go-toing that. It is, and it's just I think they'll always be that for right now.
Now, did your property in Fidelity go through? Did that close?
I finally got that under contract. Yay!
Yeah, it's a great property.
Yesterday.
It was a great property.
Yeah, so that is under contract, and that is moving forward as of right now. I still have the Vandalia property that needs to find somebody to love it. I do have the property in Albers in Bethalto, so that one, 613 Albers.
That's a nice house.
In Bethalto. It needs a lot of renovations, but it's on a double lot, and it's in a prime area. We just did a major price reduction on that one, so that one's down to $129, I do believe.
Wow.
3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage, in-ground pool, and a lot of love that it needs. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at it for home values in Bethalto, that's very well priced.
Yeah. So the bank had it priced high. They didn't listen with everything. Unfortunately, we had an appraiser come and appraise it through the bank, had an appraiser come. And I don't know where this appraiser got their numbers, but it was way off. And so we had to list it high. And then finally, with all of my reports and comps and everything and suggestions and pictures, they were like, okay, we're going to just keep going down on price. So we just did lower that to $129. As always, though, I encourage people, especially if you're looking for something to buy cash or as is, make an offer.
Yeah.
You know, make an offer and see what they say. They're either going to counter, reject it, or accept it. So you won't know unless you ask. So you're not wasting my time.
Right.
You know, especially in the foreclosures, you know, make an offer.
Now, is it? I can only imagine trying to get that reduced a little bit. Is it pretty easy to get in touch with the bank on those type of things?
The asset manager and myself, we work very closely.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So he depends. My feet are the boots on the ground per se. So he relies on my experience, my knowledge, my suggestions, and then he takes that into advisement, and then he goes back to there. We do have one in Alton over on Wickenhauser that will be coming up.
That's right over in North Alton. Is that North Alton?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
Milton.
right by
Okay.
the school,
Milton,
by the Milton School over there. So that's not ready to be listed yet. We are finishing up some things there. So that'll be a nice ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, family room downstairs. Needs a lot of love to it, but it'll be a nice family home whenever that one's ready to hit the market, and that'll probably be in January. That one will probably hit the market.
Did the one in White Cliff go?
It's under contract still. We had a few delays with some HOA, waiting on some HOA things and everything. And that's one thing that people don't always remember is that if you're buying a house in the foreclosure world or an investment world and it's in a subdivision with HOAs, if there's any back HOA fees that have not been paid, all of that has to be taken care of before the final settlement statement, because we can't put that on the HUD. And we can go into all those meetings in 2024, but those have to be taken care of prior to. And so we've just been waiting on HOA to get back. And not all the time are they quick to response, because, you know, that's not their main job. You know, if you're the treasurer of an HOA, more than likely that's not your main thing. That's, you know, you do that as the HOA representative. So we had to have a little bit delay with that one. And then we had a little bit with some septic issues that came up that we needed to address with the buyers. And it's just things that you don't know that come up. So I always encourage people, and you have to keep track of the time for me, because, you know, you and I can just keep
we'll
talking.
go. I'm serious. It's wild when we tape these things. This is live today, by the way.
So
9:41.
You got to remind me of the time. So when you're buying your house and you're buying an investment property or a foreclosure, you have to understand that the person that is selling that does not know anything normally, 9 times out of 10, about that property. They're not here. They're not local.
Right.
So the agents here locally, they do their best to determine the facts that they can present. Now, when those facts are presented in the MLS, those are to the best of our ability of being completed. We're human. Things happen. Life goes on. However, if you are an agent or if you are buying a property, the words due diligence are very important. You should always don't rely on the listing agent or word of mouth. That's not true fact. You need to check that stuff out yourself.
Right.
You need to double check. You need to do your due diligence. Just because it says this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 100% true. You need to do your research yourself. So that's sort of where some things came into play with the White Cliff property. There was some things that we listed that we thought turned out they weren't. And so then at the last minute, they're like, well, we just found this out. No, do your due diligence ahead of time. We had an appraiser come out on November 18th, do the appraisal. He never started asking questions until December 1st when the appraisal was due.
Yep.
So you have 2 weeks there where that just stalled everything. If he would have asked questions right away, which most do, then we could have got on the gun and went, oh, let's check this, let's call this, let's do this, let's do that. So it's very important for any buyer out there, or if you are an agent and you are a newer agent and you are listening, don't rely on what that MLS says. You must do your due diligence yourself to make sure everything is correct for your client. because you owe them a service of their fiduciary duty to make sure you are covering all the facts for them, not just going, well, this is what it said.
Right.
You check it.
100.
So,
When it goes back to communication again, I'm sure, because I'm sure if there was a more of a more better line of communication, then hey, have you looked into this, or has this been going on? But it slows the whole process down and stops the train.
It stops it. Yeah. I mean, people don't realize that at the last minute. I mean, luckily the bank is trying to work with them,
Right.
and say we want to keep this closing. However, if this could go a totally different direction to where the bank would say, we don't care. You know, you either take it or you don't.
Well, and then all the time that's invested on your end of things and on everyone else's end of things, it's all lost because of...
Yeah, and I mean, then the
lack.
buyers were going to have their contractors come in because we were supposed to close, and that had to get extended because we were waiting on the HOA. We were trying to figure out about the septic. So it's a domino effect, and I've said that numerous times. It's a domino effect. If one thing goes wrong, it can trickle all the way down and affect many, many people. So I'm human. So, you know, things get entered that maybe were entered incorrectly, but don't rely on Lisa Webb as she knows everything.
Right.
You know, we're human. So we see things and we check things, but then that buyer's agent, they need to check things.
Exactly.
They need to double check that. The buyer, the investor that's buying this house, that's your money.
Peace of mind. You want to make sure that your investment's a good one.
Yeah, that's your money that you're spending. So if you are an investor out there and you have an agent that you work with, make sure they are doing their due diligence to protect your money.
Right.
You have to know that your money is going to what it needs to go to. And that's just with anything, but in real estate, it's so important, especially if you're dealing with foreclosures, because foreclosures are exempt from a lot of the different disclosures that come out. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they are not local people. They don't know anything about the house, nor do they care.
Right.
They just want it sold. For whatever. It's sold as is. It's sold as is. So you get it the way it sits. You know, you can still do your inspections or whatever, but it doesn't matter. And so you have to really just slow down and do your homework before those offers go in. You know, we did that with your house.
Oh, exactly.
We looked at everything with your house. We looked at where things were sitting. We did our inspection. We analyzed it. But before you actually place that offer, do your homework.
Well, and too, on top of it, I talked to one of the neighbors whenever I was with my grandpa. He said, I want to see your house. So I walked, or was the house really nice? So I walked around, and there was a neighbor. I said, what happened? He told me, well, at one point in time, there was a little bit of an issue with one of the walls. They fixed it. And I said, great. And that was it. And But to me, if I'm the investor, I'm kind of looking at my agent going, hello.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm over here, and you're playing with my money here.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't, just make sure that, because we're all human.
Right.
And we're all have things going on. So you as the buyer, any buyers out there, whether you're buying a foreclosure or traditional, do your homework. Double check things. Call county, call city. You can pick up and call anybody. Same thing with the buyers and the listing agents. Do your homework. Make sure you dig as much as you can for anything hidden.
Well, exactly, and it goes back to what you're just saying too. On top of that, not to keep beating the dead horse, but I mean, if you're putting all this money in, and then you got prices increasing on tools and labor and any of the sort to get this house going, you got to make sure you're perfect in everything you're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just as you're going through the buying process and winding things down for the year, just slow down and make sure this is your biggest investment that you're doing. And I know there's a lot of investors out there that watch HGTV, and it's all beautiful and neat and fun, and we love seeing the old and then the new. But you still have to rely. There's nobody going to do the job better than you.
Exactly.
So you have to protect yourself, and then make sure your buyer's agent or your listing agent has your best interest in mind.
I've never understood those shows that say that I'm a cat calendar maker and my budget's $500,000. You know, it's just some of those jobs always crack me up.
And it's crazy though. Whenever we look at prices in different parts of the United States, and people are like, oh my gosh, they live in $1 million house. Well, you go to California, $1 million house is a box.
Right. Right.
You know, it's just like, it's so odd to where the pricing and the you know, the values of things. And California, $1 million house, that's normal.
Yeah, that's
you know?
a normal suburban home.
Yeah, that's what you and I, you know, that would be like, okay, you know, this is where our family is living, you know. But here, you're like, there's no way, you know, I can't afford that. But and then New York, when you go the other direction and you look at some of these condos that are in these sky rises down by Central Avenue or Times Square and all that, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, for this 600 square foot, you get, the view is gorgeous, it looks all over the city, but you're paying a lot of money, you know. So
well, I was looking at even a 2-bedroom penthouse up there. It's like 1.5 to 2.7. I mean,
yeah, the views are great.
Yeah, well, at least you get to look at the view. Yeah.
Yeah.
And other than that, what's been going down in the world of Lisa Webb? Anything else been happening?
No, just real estate, you know, things going and getting ready for 2024. So we are trying to look at different things coming up, you know, for 2024 and seeing where things are going to take us. And I am looking at some possible things that I'd like to get into. I'd like to branch out and look at doing some property management, getting into some rentals and managing that for people local.
Man,
starting
you would be
off
good.
small,
You'd be
you know,
good.
just to get, I don't have that experience, but I'd like to add that to it. And so, you know, that's coming down the pipe. So if you know of anybody that's like, you know, hey, I'm looking for a new property manager that I can reach out to, you know, share my name. And, you know, everybody needs a shot to start, you know.
Right.
So don't want a lot of doors to begin with, but just something simple. So I'm looking at that in 2024.
Wow.
And so, you know, that'll be a big undertaking.
Well, you'll be really good. I mean, you're good. You'd definitely be a hell of a property manager.
Well, I reached out to one of my investors. They actually were in California, and I sold them several properties over in Cahokia in that area, and he's moved now up to Springfield. And so I was asking him, because that's what he does. You know, he's an investor, and he has rentals. And he's like, communication is the biggest thing. And he goes, you do that really well, so you will be just fine. But property management, they have to communicate with the owners of the properties. They have to have that transparency. So we've been the husband and I have sort of been trying to look at that a little bit bigger into 2024, starting off small, see where it goes. But we sort of have that coming down the pipe and then some other
I'm
things.
excited for that. That's great, though. I mean, it seems...
Well, and I get so many people that are looking for rentals because they can't buy yet.
Yep.
And if I can get in with the property management and be able to take on that aspect as well, then I can have some options for people, and then they can come in and rent until they're able to buy, and then they can transition into buying, and then we can move into getting somebody else in there to rent, you know. So it's sort of like part of the circle.
I love it. This is like a full stop shop.
Yeah,
That's,
And I haven't told anybody, so yay!
Breaking news!
Breaking news! Breaking news! Yeah.
Well,
so we're looking at that.
I mean, seriously, I think this is going to be a great move for you.
Yeah, hopefully so. So if you know of anybody, or if anybody's listening that they would like to give us a shot, you know, we are brand new, so we're still working through everything, but would love to sit down and have a talk with somebody, you know, a property owner, on how we can do the job for them. They may have somebody now that they're wanting to transition out away from, and, you know, happy to come in and have that discussion.
Absolutely. We'll make sure to put that in the article. We'll get some people calling you.
Yeah.
I have a good feeling about
That's
that.
great.
I'm
Yeah,
serious.
absolutely.
I really do. This is good stuff, Lisa Webb.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you are one of the most family-oriented people I've come to know, and coming from someone who all of his family over the Italian, you know, family and me, we're all about that. And I'm sure you guys have some Christmas shaboozis getting planned. Are there any traditions in the Webb family that you guys want to share?
So the only really thing that is true and dear to us for the Christmas tradition is we like when all of our kids come to the house. So this year, my oldest daughter, I have 3 kids. So my oldest daughter bought a house in Bunker Hill
Oh,
this
that's
year.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this will be her first Christmas in the house because they didn't close until after Christmas last year. So this will be her first Christmas. So we're all going to her house Christmas evening, and all of my kids are grown. So I don't have the little 6 o'clock in the morning, the kids coming in I don't have that anymore. So usually the morning is just my husband and I. So that's usually when I finish the last minute shopping, wrapping from Santa, It's like, well, okay, Santa brought all this, now let's wrap it, So usually that's what we do in the morning because all of our kids are grown and they have their own families. But we do like to have all of the kids and grandkids in the one house on Christmas Christmas Day evening. That's what we like to do.
100%.
So, and then of course my husband's birthday is the 27th. So he's one of those that, it's right after. So last year we did for his birthday, we rented the movie theater out at Alton Cinema. So it's really neat to do a birthday party. You can reserve one of the movie theaters out there and you can pick a movie. It's not the top movies, but it's a movie. And so I think we'll do that again, sort of continue on that tradition.
Yeah.
Because why not? Everybody likes to sit at the movie, and you're the only one in the movie theater. So I'm plugging the movie theater in Alton, whatever their official name is.
They asked me to sponsor them the other day.
Well,
I would love to do that.
That's something that we had looked at because, you can do sponsorships to where your name is, your business is there. But we do like to do that as a family. So anything family is, I wish I could say that we go caroling and we do all this fun stuff. We're pretty boring people, but
well, that's how I am.
Simple is good.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm all for. I just the big thing is just getting everybody together. And that's really what it is. But I'm scared of carolers. I don't.
Yeah, we don't do the caroling thing or anything like that. But now this is your first Christmas
with Nico at the house.
Yeah.
Santa Paws has already stopped by a couple of times because he found the bag of toys that were in the closet. But it was great. I got all the kids in the family, all the nephews and little ones got their gifts going and got all the older adults something small and just kept it light this year, you know?
So, but now I think you do need to tell the listeners that there is something special about having a Christmas in your own home.
There really is.
It's just a feeling that unless you own your own home, it's not the same.
It really isn't because seriously on the weekends, especially the last 2 weeks, I've been a little bit busier getting the show tape, but to have that Christmas tree up and have my decorations out and just to have stuff ready to go, but also the way it's set up, I get to sit there and have some hot chocolate at my kitchen table, listen to some Christmas movies and listen to some Christmas music, and just that it's almost just like the nostalgia feeling again where it's like, wow, man, this is yours. And this is your Christmas. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was all because of Lisa Webb. I found the key.
Oh, did you really?
So believe it or not, I got a follow up on this. We have 3 minutes until 10 anyway, so might as well keep going. I locked myself out of the house. I walked outside and shut the door, and I go, "Oh no, my car keys are there, and those are where my keys are." Shoot! So
That's what you said.
I didn't. It was a Sunday afternoon. I'm like, "Well, where do I go?" St. Peter's is closed. So I'm like, maybe they have a key laying around. Call the locksmith. Oh, and by the way, it was Thanksgiving weekend. It was the weekend after Thanksgiving, so nobody was working. Nobody was in the office. Yeah. I called the locksmith. He wanted $500 to drive from St. Louis over. I'm like,
my goodness.
Well, what am I going to do? So I get on my hands and knees and go underneath that deck. And I found the key and it worked. It was the only lock that was on that door.
You should have taken pictures. You should have called me, done a video.
It was like winning the jackpot, Lisa Webb. And just like I felt getting that key, when you're working with Lisa, you're going to feel like you hit the jackpot because you really do care about their values. You care about what they are as people, as clients. You want to know what their interests are because you want to make sure they're taking the best step forward on their next chapter of life. And I think that's always something I like to plug and put into it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have time for me to give you a rundown of where things are at? So we have a property coming up in Granite City. It's a foreclosure. It's not ready yet, but it'll be coming probably in January. Okay. I have a really big property, house in Steelville. It's a foreclosure. It'll be coming down the pipe. We have a property in Belleville that's not listed yet, so it'll be coming. It's a foreclosure. We have the Wickenhauser one, the Albers one. We have one in Carrollton, which is on the outside of Carrollton. It's Berdan. So we have that one that's listed. So we have quite a few coming down the pipe. I do have a traditional home over in Alton that I sold this lady her home, and now she's buying a different home over in Missouri. She got married, so congratulations. And so she reached out, and so we're going to list hers probably not until January or so. So that is a super nice one that'll be coming down. So stay tuned. 2024 has a lot coming down
Where's
the pipe.
that at in Alton?
I can't say yet because it's not officially listed yet.
Okay.
But it will be coming, and it has some nice updates, a new roof and things like that. So that one is not a foreclosure. It'll be a traditional residential home, and it'll be very appealing to families. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa Webb, we did it again. It is 9:59 as we're creeping up to the top of the hour right here on this 20th day of December. You have a great Christmas.
You too.
And tell Santa Webb to have a happy birthday on the 27th.
I will. Yeah, absolutely.
But seriously, thank you so much for your time. And it seems like, 2024 seems promising.
Yeah, that's our goal anyway.
For more information on those upcoming properties, you go to thirdstrealty.com. That's thirdstrealty.com. It's linked on our live schedule today on RiverBender. So if you see that purple text, click on it. Takes you right to the upcoming listings and the ones that are already available too.
Yep.
Well, Lisa Webb, I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll see you next year.